Welcome back to another FC25 player review. Today's player review is the Fantasy FC Kerolin Nicoli. Now, this SBC is actually a sort of choice SBC. So you've got Nicoli, and then you've also got Fantasy FC Buendia, which you would see that review just before this one. So for me, obviously having two accounts, I can review both players, which is definitely a benefit. And I've got to say, it's quite a difficult decision. If you've watched my Buendia review, you'll know that I think he's absolutely fantastic. But to be honest, you're about to see the stats for Nicoli, and they are just absolutely phenomenal. So, with that being said, as you can see, it's a 4-2-4. Premier League, WSL, Bundesliga, Icon. I think that's all the leagues covered. 4-2-4, just absolutely fantastic team. And the main player we are looking at is Nicoli. You can see she's 5'5", controlled acceleration type with a marksman, 4-star skill moves, and a 4-star weak foot. And then in the 3 matches, scored 20 goals and got 2 assists, which is just absolutely incredible. I mean, 22 goal contributions in 3 games is just absolutely insane. Then you can see her preferred position is right mid, but she can also play as a right winger and a striker. Obviously, for me, I played her as a striker. I mean, what an absolutely fantastic return. Then into the stats, pace, 93 pace, 93 acceleration and 93 sprint speed. Pretty decent, to be honest. Does feel a lot faster in game. Whether that's because she's 5'5", I don't know, but it's a theory I have. Then shooting, absolutely fantastic. Considering some of those stats actually look quite low. So 88 shot power with a marksman is quite low, but I mean, her shot power is absolutely fantastic. The finishing, absolutely incredible. 97 with a marksman, 91 long shots, and 88 penalties. Then her passing, really good. Outside of free kick accuracy, 85 vision, 91 grossing, 94 short passing, and 88 long passing. So definitely a viable option as a right mid or a right winger. Then dribbling, absolutely fantastic. 92 agility and 97 balance. Then she's also got 92 reactions with a marksman. 85 composure's quite low, but as I said, 3 matches, 20 goals. Her composure felt so much higher than that. Then the defending, completely irrelevant. And then onto the physicals. So with a marksman, she's got 92 jumping, which is just irrelevant because she's 5'5", 95 stamina. So if you are to play her as a right winger or a right mid, very good stamina. Strength 90 with a marksman. For some reason, she did actually just feel quite strong in game, which I usually find players sort of 5'5" and below just get absolutely bullied, even if they have really high strength. So for me, it was actually a pleasant surprise that 90 strength actually felt like 90 strength for once. And then into playstyles, base finesse shot, ping pass, jockey, don't ask me why, technical, quick step plus. I think that's possibly why her 93 pace actually feels a lot more like 99. So just an absolutely fantastic playstyle plus. Trivela plus. For me, this is the reason I played her as a striker. Trivela plus is just unbelievably broken. And then for roles, as a right mid, she can be a wide midfielder plus plus, inside forward plus. As a right winger, she can be a wide playmaker plus plus, inside forward plus. And then as a striker, she can be a false 9 plus plus or an advanced forward plus. Now, I used her as an advanced forward plus simply because I find that false 9 plus plus just doesn't really work, especially when you're trying to use the 4-2-4, because they essentially just drop and they essentially become a cam, which in the 4-2-4 is not what you want, because the whole point is you have 4 attackers, and I just personally find advanced forward easily the best player role for a striker. So that's why I used her on Advanced Forward Plus. But with that being said, let's head into the gameplay. Okay, so into the gameplay for Nicoli, starting off with the pros. First of all would have to be her pace. She's got 93 pace, which is 93 acceleration and 93 sprint speed. But for me, she genuinely felt more like 99 pace. Now, I do think that's actually down to the fact that she has Quick Step Plus, which is just one of the most broken playstyles at the moment. Then her shooting is absolutely incredible. As you saw, 20 goals in 3 games, which is just absolutely mental. With a marksman, she has 97 finishing, 88 shot power, 91 long shots, 88 penalties, 89 volleys, and 91 attacking positioning. For me, just absolutely incredible. Then she's got really good passing, 85 vision, 91 crossing, 94 short passing, 88 long passing. And to be honest, whether you play her as a striker or a right winger, for me the passing is just really decent. Dribbling's fantastic, 92 agility and 97 balance. With her being 5'5", she just feels even more agile on the ball. Then with the marksman, she goes up to 92 reactions, only has 85 composure, which to be honest is just an absolute lie. It really does feel like mid-90s. You don't score 20 goals in the 3 games if you've got super low composure. I found her physicals to actually be pretty decent, considering that she is 5'5", and even with the marksman she's got 90 strength. Usually they don't actually feel particularly strong on the ball, but in this case, fortunately, she actually did. Then, as I said previously, she's got Quick Step Plus, completely broken on this game. She's also got Travella Plus, which is fantastic for a striker. And the final pros of this card, I'd have to say the 4-star 4-star. At this stage of the game, realistically, I do think you should have 4-star 4-star. Otherwise, it does start getting a little bit iffy. And then onto the cons, just like Fantasy FC Buendia, it is just a real shame, in my opinion, of the lack of plus roles. I know she has a couple plus roles, but I would have liked to have seen 2 plus roles for each position. Okay, so now that you've seen the gameplay for Nicoli, would I recommend taking her from the Fantasy FC SBC? And to be honest, it's a really difficult decision, because having used both, as you would have seen in the Buendia review, I did find him to be really good. And obviously, because Leverkusen are doing quite well at the moment, it wouldn't really surprise me if he did get like 5, maybe 6 upgrades. I don't think they'll win the league, but to be honest, Nicoli's in a very similar position. So obviously, when it comes to the upgrade path, I believe it's no cards in the next 4 matches, have to win 2 out of the next 4 matches, score 10 goals in the next 4 matches, and then goal or assist. I can't remember if I've said that. But then there's also the sort of optional, which I don't think they've actually done before with Fantasy, which is winning the main domestic cup. So I believe it is called the Women's FA Cup. If it's not, I do apologise. I'm not going to pretend I'm an avid watcher of the WSL and women's football. And then the other is to actually win the WSL. Now, City are currently sat at 4th. Chelsea, I think, when I looked, are like 12 points ahead. So I don't think she is going to get that upgrade. But when looking at the value of this SBC, the SBC itself is coming in at about 90,000 coins. Personally, I think either for Nicoli or Buendia, it is actually a really good valued SBC. And for me, it's a really difficult decision because, I mean, as you can see, 22 goal contributions in 3 matches. Now, Obviously, one of the games she scored like 11 goals, so that does massively benefit her. But then she then went and scored 4 and 5. So it's a real difficult one because I just feel like with the way that Leverkusen are probably going to do significantly better, obviously I can't predict and I can't give you exact information. It's always very difficult to actually sort of say, I'd recommend this player over this player because depending on how these teams do, these cards may vary on how they get upgraded. So it's always difficult with live cards because you never know. Whereas if it's a upgrade path that you yourself can control, then it is a little bit easier. But for me, 4-star, 4-star, really decent. The pace really good. As I said, I do think Quick Step Plus was probably something to do with the fact that it felt more like 99. The shooting, just absolutely incredible. Passing's very good. Dribbling's spectacular. The physicals I was really surprised with. Obviously the jumping is just irrelevant because she's 5'5". Then the playstyles. Now, for me, as long as a striker has base finesse shot, it's more than good enough. If they don't, then just don't even attempt finesse shots because they're absolutely slaughtered. Ping pass, I mean, I don't think it really matters regardless of what position you play her. Jockey, again, I just don't really see the point of it on an attacker. Technical, it's an okay playstyle. As I said, Quick Step Plus, since the latest patch, it's been one of the most broken playstyle pluses, so it is a massive benefit to this card. Trivela Plus, as I said earlier on in the video, any striker with Trivela Plus, Trivelas are just absolutely broken, so I would highly recommend just shooting pretty much from everywhere because they're most likely going to put it on their strong foot, and goalkeepers just seem to dive the wrong way when someone hits a Trivela. It's just one of those things where EA need to fix goalkeeping, but they're not going to. Then for roles, I wouldn't say I'm massively disappointed with what roles or plus plus roles she has. For me, I would have liked to have seen at least inside forward plus plus as a right winger, and then as a striker advanced forward plus plus. For me, the further we get into this game, the more plus plus roles the better, because it just means that they are really limiting what you can actually do with a player. Now, for me, I used Advanced Forward Plus, and she had an absolutely amazing return. So, it's not the be-all and end-all, but certain players it really can be. And I just think overall, this is a really good card. It's just, do I think Buendia is a better card? To be honest, I do think they're actually really level. As I said in the Buendia review earlier, they are pretty much level. So it's ultimately whether you use a WSL team, whether you run a Bundesliga team, it's genuinely up to you. I personally think they're both really great cards. It's just whether you want Nicoli or Buendia, because in my opinion, I would have liked to have had both cards because they are genuinely both spectacular. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it and would like to see more FC25 content, click the video on the left for my Fantasy FC Buendia review, and on the right is my grassroots greats Jonathan David. But for now, I'll see you in the next one.